Hello recipe decoders. Today I'm going to show you how to make these flourless chocolate chip peanut butter cookies. This recipe is an adaptation of another recipe found on allrecipes.com. You can find a link in the description below. And for this recipe, you're going to need 1 cup or 250 grams of peanut butter, 1/2 cup or 110 grams of sugar, 1/3 cup or 80 grams of brown sugar, 1 medium or large egg, 1 teaspoon or 4 milliliters of vanilla extract, 1/2 teaspoon or 4 grams of baking soda, and 1/2 cup or 80 grams of chocolate chips. We're going to start off by attaching our mixing blade and then attaching the mixing bowl to the stand mixer. Then go ahead and add in the peanut butter. This step is pretty messy, so try to get as much as you can in there. Afterwards, you can add in the sugar, and then you can add in the brown sugar. Start off by mixing everything on a low setting. Once all those first ingredients are mixed in, go ahead and add in the egg and mix it in a low speed setting. Following that, go ahead and add in the vanilla extract, and then add in the baking soda as well. Just keep the mixing blade a little clean and push down any cookie dough from the sides of the mixing bowl in order for everything to blend evenly. However, because there really isn't any flour included in this recipe, keeping everything clean isn't a problem. This isn't a very messy recipe at all. And last, we're going to add in the chocolate chips. Continue to mix on a low speed setting. By this point, everything should be blended pretty well, and now it's time to remove it from the mixing stand. Now we're going to grab a rectangular baking sheet and line it with some parchment paper. For this video, I'm also going to use a round baking sheet as well, just to speed things up. To line this round baking sheet with parchment paper, you first need to cut out a square roughly proportional to its size. Then fold it in half, and then fold it in half one more time. Then bring 2 corners together to form a triangle. And then fold one side of a corner into itself to make a cone shape. Afterwards, find the center of your round baking sheet and place the small end of the cone right on top of it. Then, to find the radius, make a mental note of where the larger side of the cone meets with the edge of the baking sheet, and then cut off the excess. And if you've done it right, you should now have a round sheet of parchment paper. I'm going to be using a 7/8 ounce ice cream scoop to scoop out the cookie dough. And as you're scooping these out onto a tray, just be patient. They will have a tendency to break apart. So just take your time and do it slowly, and try to fix anything that breaks apart in the process. And now they can go into the oven at 350 degrees and bake for about 8 minutes. After the cookies are finished baking, take them out of the oven and let them rest for about 5 minutes. I left these cookies on the round baking sheet a little too long and they caramelized a little, but it's not a big deal, they'll still taste good. And now you can just transfer this batch into a bowl or container and then start preparing for the next batch. And don't worry, it's fine to reuse parchment paper for multiple batches. Honestly, even though this recipe doesn't require any flour, these cookies still feel and have a texture just like any other ordinary cookies. And this is probably just because of the peanut butter, which is giving them just a little bit of extra thickness. Okay, so here's the end results after baking about 3 to 4 batches. But obviously, I'm not even going to attempt to eat all of those cookies, and instead, just eat about 2 of them. And I have to admit, I thought this recipe wouldn't do too well with the lack of flour ingredients. These cookies actually have a chewy feel and a peanut buttery taste. No kidding, it was almost like eating a jar of peanut butter with some chocolate chips dipped in it. So if you're a big fan of peanut butter, then these cookies just might be the right thing for you. I also went ahead and tested the cookie, which slightly burned a little and caramelized, only to find that it actually tasted a bit better that way. Essentially, it was still chewy, but with a hint of caramel. And that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and that this recipe comes out great if you try to make it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.